Lionsgate's newest crime thriller hits the big screen this weekend, and while it has a star studded cast, what you may not realize is that it also has a local tie as well. Joining me now is Springfield native Tony Tost, the writer and director of Americana. Tony, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me today. Now, to start off, can you give our viewers a brief synopsis of what they can expect when they go watch Americana?
Yeah, Americana is kind of this crazy quilt of a small town crime film that takes place on the South Dakota Wyoming border, and it kind of gradually, piece by piece, turns into like an old school Western with a old school Western shootout. So there's a handful of characters who all, for their own reason, feel out of place in the modern West. And when this priceless Native American artifact falls on the black market, they all decide they want to get it to improve their lot in life, and fireworks take place.
The fireworks definitely do take place with later on in the film. So, what inspired you to write this modern Western esque crime thriller and bring it to life?
Yeah, I love westerns. Yeah, I used to work on a TV show called Longmire. That was kind of a modern day western. I had my another show called Damnation. That was a kind of a Clint Eastwood western in my mind, but took place in the 1930s in kind of John Steinbeck country. I grew up on westerns. I love the western. There's not a lot of people doing westerns of any type, and I just thought, well, this is a storytelling arena I love, that I'm familiar with, that not enough people are kind of working in. And so for my first movie as a writer director, it seemed like a natural choice.
Yeah, it does feel like as we go, time goes on, westerns are starting to slowly make a comeback with Americana. Then we had Eddington earlier this year, which has that western esque, and then American Horizon came out last year.
Yeah.
What made this project though different from these other projects you've worked on in the past?
Yeah, I think one thing that made this different is that this was very much, television is a different thing. When you're creating a TV show, working on a TV show, you're creating a storytelling engine that could perpetually run for ideally 5, 6, 7 years. What this is a really set story, like beginning, middle, and end, where there's full character arcs. I had this idea of these different types of characters drawn from people I've known. There is a way that I could kind of fuse my love of westerns and my love of country music kind of together with some of the characters. And so there's, in a way, this is kind of a love letter. Like, I was raised on Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood movies, old westerns,
Hmm.
country music, and pro wrestling. Like that, those aren't common reference points in Hollywood these days. And there's a way for me to kind of, you know, bring that kind of vibe back, but in a 2020s type of
Hmm.
setting.
Now you have an amazing star-studded cast: Sydney Sweeney, Paul Walter Hauser, Halsey, Zan McLaren, and so many more. What was the casting process like for this? How did you narrow down this selection?
Yeah, I mean it's always a bit chaotic. You know, you don't know who's available, you don't know who's going to be interested, especially if I'm not a big name. I'm a working writer, but I'm not Martin Scorsese or Christopher Nolan. I wrote Zon McLaren's role specifically for him because we worked together on Longmire. So when I finished the script, I was like, "Hey, Zon, I wrote this for you. If you're interested at all, would you be interested in if we get this made to play?" It's like, "Yeah, Tony, of course. Let's see how this goes." So that part relatively easy. Then the rest is just identifying a combo of people will help get the movie financed, and that you think that actors I'm just a fan of, and then who I think might be interested in doing these roles. You think who you think will be really good in the role, but they don't necessarily get offered this type of role, and
Hmm.
so they may actually, because I can't offer them a big payday. It's a small movie, so it's actually the role itself that's going to be the draw. And so then you just kind of, then you get lucky. You get Sydney Sweeney's or Stars Rising, or you get Paul Walter Hauser when he's in, every other blockbuster this summer. And yeah, it's a roll of the dice. But
Hmm.
yeah, we got really really lucky on this.
Yeah, definitely amazing cast. The film altogether, so intriguing. So you never know what's going to happen, and it's just fun to watch. Now, bringing it back to your Springfield tie, growing up here, what was your journey like to get where you are today, especially within the film industry?
Yeah, so I was born in Springfield, early childhood in a small town called Ava, about an hour away. then moved out to Washington State for a big part of my childhood, and then came back to the Ozarks, and I actually did my undergraduate college at the College of the Ozarks outside of Branson, and then went and did an MFA in poetry at the University of Arkansas. So I do have definite Ozark roots, though I did spend part of my childhood elsewhere. To be honest, it's a long winding road to come from small town America, whether it's the Ozarks or anywhere else, to try to get inroads in Hollywood, where there's a lot of, people's nieces and nephews, sons and daughters and brothers are kind of already, they're already in rooms and making deals when you're trying to find where the building is located or how to get there. I don't come from a very affluent background. I'm a trailer park type of guy. And so it's a little bit of a struggle to get in there. That said, once I do actually get in there, I feel like I'm at an advantage because I've actually lived some. I actually have some experience outside of a fancy prep school or things like that. I've lived a lot. I've worked a lot of different jobs, from restaurant work to janitorial work to working at a pickle factory. So I have a wide range of experiences to draw on. So then now that I'm actually in the industry, this kind of background that I have allows me to tell stories that I don't think too many other people are able to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we go, do you have one piece of advice that you'd give to other young filmmakers here in rural United States on how to make it in the film industry? What's something they should be looking out for?
What I would do is find as many people around your age group, around your experience level, who you like and whose stuff you dig. Make things together, support each other, build your network that way. You'll all get better. You all support each other. And then once one of you breaks in, then you can help the other people. I think that's a more effective path than like going into lobbies and trying to, giving your business card to somebody walking through who's famous, because they're not going to be invested in you. Your friends and your peers will be. So it's a slower path, but yeah, that would be one piece of advice. And another one would be, if you're wanting to write scripts, write something only you could write, as opposed to try to copy something that's popular, because there's a lot of people out there copying what's already popular. What you really need is someone who reads your script and thinks, this is the best thing I've read all year. It doesn't matter if 99 other people don't like it. If you have one or two people who are your real advocates, you'll get a lot further than a lot of people who's like, oh no, that's pretty good. That won't get you anywhere, but some passionate advocates will.
Great advice to definitely take into mind. Tony, thank you so much for talking to me today. Americana hits theaters this weekend. You guys do not want to miss it. Go check it out.